almost forget about Mahomes and the Chiefs for a minute and focus on Hurts and the Eagles.
Okay.
Trying to localize that topic last night, that game last night. And I'm thinking to myself, for as good as I felt about the Detroit Lions this year and the way their season ended, so disappointed they didn't get a chance to go take on San Francisco and just see what they had. Take a shot at the playoffs and see where the chips fall. I'm watching that game yesterday. I'm like, man, could these guys really hang with the Eagles?
No.
In Philadelphia?
No.
In January?
No.
Could they really get past them right now? There's still a lot of work to do, Braylon.
It's still a lot of work, and listen, and it's no disrespect to the Detroit Lions. So for those out there, oh no, this is called real talk. This is called real spit. In order to get in those situations, like in order to be in those situations and be able to have success in those situations, one, you got to be battle tested. Two, you got to have the right people. You got to have the right team. You got to have the right players. The Lions are on the right track. I mean, you see how they open up as the number 9 favorite, and MGM Sports Betting, they're 9 to win the Super Bowl next year or to get to the big dance. So people believe in them, but you got to have the full roster. When you watched the season last year, early on, they struggled because the defense was bad. They played an NFC that was a bad NFC. By the way, when you really look at what the Eagles went through, which is another thing we talked about, looking at what the Eagles had to go through to get to the Super Bowl, was it going to hurt them or hamper them? Because they hadn't seen anything like Patrick Mahomes, and we got our answer. But you look at the Detroit Lions, they struggled defensively early. And even later on in the season, when they played well defensively, still struggled in the secondary. Got to get some secondary members there that you fully trust. Got to get a big guy in the middle. So you saw what happened when team can run the ball, like the Carolina Panthers, how they ran on the Detroit Lions. So there's some things that you got to shore up so that you can be one of these teams. Everybody wants to point to the Cincinnati Bengals so bad as the Detroit Lions because year 2, Joe Burrow, they go to the Super Bowl, Jamar Chase first year. They're like, man, they made the Super Bowl. They had some holes on the offensive line. They had some holes on the defensive side. Yeah, but they also had some players that are going to be gold jacket wearers. Like they got some guys on there that were just amazing, and it came together just right. The Lions have enough firepower in the offseason in terms of draft capital, in terms of money that they've saved because of players that they've gotten rid of. So they can put together a team in this offseason, I think, that can compete on this level with the Eagles coming into next year, because the Eagles are going to have to make some decisions. They're going to have to let some people go, including Bradbury and maybe some other players. But this particular year, this Super Bowl, no, they weren't ready to go into Philly and beat the Philadelphia Eagles to go to Glendale, Arizona to play for the Super Bowl. But next year, they got enough on the offseason where I think they can be that.
Are you ready for this? Earlier today, there was a guy on our feed. His name is Bronco. Hey, Mass.
Nagurski?
Yeah, Bronco. He said, hey, Mass, what do you think the Lions are going to do in the draft after watching last night's game? Do you think they'll look at Philadelphia and say, hey, wow, they had a great defense, but guess what? Kansas City still put up almost 40 points on them. So what have you been talking about what to do in the draft?
Offense.
Yeah, the Lions could have played last night. You know why? They could have gave up 38 points, and they might have scored 41 points. I'm just saying. Offense wins right now in today's game. You're not going to stop Patrick Mahomes.
He scored on every single drive in the second half.
One incomplete pass was a throwaway. You're not going to stop him. But I'll damn what, you're not going to stop us either. We're gonna punch you right in your face every single time, right back at you. Go offense this draft. I'm with you.
My thing all along, Braylon, has been take what you do the best and make it better. If you can do that, I think you can play in every single football game you play in.
You can.
And, whether it's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, or Anthony Richardson, those two quarterbacks last night really highlighted the fact that I'm not sure you can go all the way with Jared Goff. I just watching those two quarterbacks last night and their 7th-round running backs, the only reason they got 7th-round running backs is because they got 2 future Hall of Famers at quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, they got on rookie deals, by the way. So whether it's Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round, your running back,
He's pretty good.
or you got this.
Boy, has he got something.
Kenneth Gainwell, is that even his name?
Yeah, it is, Kenneth Gainwell.
I mean, Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott.
Could have won you some money.
I mean, take Anthony Richardson, take Bijan Robinson, and be done with it. Make what you do great even greater. That's how you compete in today's NFL.
I'm absolutely okay with drafting a quarterback because I've always said Jared Goff is not going to win you a Super Bowl. Even now that I say I like Jared Goff, I keep saying, and much like all of us, we like Jared Goff for this immediate year, this next year.
He's Alex Smith.
100%. All right. With that being said, when you look at the Eagles and you look at the route that they went through, and before you say, yeah, look, their defense was this, and they still got 38 points put on them by the Kansas City Chiefs. That's because their defensive coordinator went to fuck sleep. Excuse my French. That's because he went to sleep.
Good for you.
That's because he went to sleep.
For you.
You got all these players on defense like James Bradbury, Pro Bowl, Darius Slay, Pro Bowl. Excuse me, by the way, both All-Pro, safety Pro Bowler, Fletcher Cox Pro Bowler, Hassan Reddick. He was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, and the list goes on. Brandon Graham had 11 sacks this year. Sweat had 11.5 sacks this year. They had so many defensive players with so much talent. Sue came out of nowhere and had a couple sacks at the end of the season. They had all this, but you know what they didn't have? They didn't have a defensive coordinator to put them in good positions to help them against the Kansas City Chiefs. The same thing you saw at Andy Reid on the offensive side. He was like, oh, yeah, they are good defense. But guess what? Guess who's a better genius on offense? And he went back there and he made adjustments. And they adjusted. And they ran circles.
Slay didn't know where to go. He ran the opposite way on the Tony touchdown.
Both of them did. Bradbury did the same thing. That's why he got caught holding at the end of the game. They had the ball for 22 minutes. The Chiefs did. And still put up 38 points. So I understand, yes, they still had 38 points put on this vaunting defense. But that's because they put a John Calipari move. You know what John Calipari does at UK? He said, I'm going to get all the McDonald's All-Americans, and I'm going to put them out there in the court. And then in Final Four, I'm going to say, hey, you go win me a championship. No, coach.
No, they don't.
You got to coach.
They can't even get to the 16 anymore.
You got to coach John Calipari, just like the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. You didn't coach in the second half, and your team got destroyed. So Aaron Glenn, I think, is a better defensive coordinator with that talent. And I stand on that.
Offense.
Boom.
Offense.
You might not have Patrick Mahomes, but you can put everything else together.
True.